Bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do. And now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord. And when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair and he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, building a simple costume, a Wall-E costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walkin Rollin Costumes. I want to reach more kids, and the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, contact us. We have lots of resources, we have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.
For the first time this season, the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by MJ Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, how he gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger, all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League. First of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix. But the 73 of Joseph McWhorter is going to be your season 2 champion. Here he comes off of turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway.
Banks takes him 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Look at this, 3 wide again. The top 3 still 3 wide for the lead. Banks on the inside, right in the middle, Kevin to the outside.
I can't believe what I'm watching right now.
Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind. This is my prime. Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind.
Pull those belts tight. You're watching Saturday Night Racing League, only on VSPEED.
Well, we're back at it for another great season, but first and foremost, we have to bring you to Talladega Super Speedway. Live here tonight for a special event presented by Walkin Rollin Costumes. It's the Clash for a Cause, benefiting all of everyone that supports Walkin Rollin Costumes Saturday Night Racing League, live here on VSPEED. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me in the booth here tonight, Jeff Wright, Season 1 champion of the Cup Series. Jeff, a lot going on, a great cause here, and the benefits, entries, donations, links in the description. Tell us a little bit about what we got going on tonight.
Yeah, first of all, just an awesome event put together here, and this is something Chris Rude, a member of our league that's been, thinking about having done for a long time, and I'm just so happy that we're able to put this on and facilitate that and help that, and showcasing exactly what is Walkin Rollin Costumes, everything they do, and you talk about the donations. Yeah, everybody tonight that is in here was willing to put down a generous donation to race, but also to raise money for that great cause. So just super excited to be a part of this event. Bradley, part of me wants to, be out there on the racetrack at Talladega, but I'm also super excited to be up here in the booth with you and call this awesome event.
And it's been awesome being up here in the booth as well. And this feeling is mutual, but overall, you talk about how this all comes together, and you've got a bunch of working parts, all working in unison. I mean, it's incredible how fast things can come together here on iRacing and in general. But you guys have been talking about this for quite some time, and I think we have the guy that has really been the mastermind behind all of it somewhere here. I think he's finishing up with qualifying, but at some point here, we're going to have Chris Rude up in the booth. And I know, Jeff, proud supporter of the cause, that he puts a lot of effort, a lot of soul into what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chris, I met him, just before season 1 of the Saturday Night Racing League took place. And he's just such a great guy. Obviously, he's deeply affiliated with Walkin Rollin Costumes. And so, we wanted to give back for everything he has done. Bradley, I'm sure you know that broadcasting and organizing leagues, it's not cheap. It takes a lot of money. And Chris Rude was a guy that, came here himself, but also brought Walkin Rollin Costumes on board as one of our main sponsors to be able to do things like this. So, I mean, I can't just show my appreciation enough for everything that he's done for us, everything that Walkin Rollin Costumes has done for all the different children out there. I think he wrote a post earlier in the week, something about how they've provided 200 plus costumes to kids with special needs. That just is something I feel like everybody can get behind, the work that they're doing. And so tonight, the event here at Talladega, the Clash for a Cause, it's pretty much just a thank you to Chris and everybody at Walkin Rollin. And we are splitting the prize purse tonight. So I'm sure Chris will talk about that here in a little bit. He's finishing up with qualifying, so I don't want to pull him just now. But 50% of all the proceeds and all the donations are going directly to Walkin Rollin Costumes. And then to add a little bit on the line, we're paying out the top 5 finishers this evening here at Talladega. So I think we're in for a fun race, Mr. Cooper, and I just can't wait to get this thing started.
We look at Talladega Super Speedway. It opened September 13th, 1969, 33 degrees of banking. It's a wide D-shaped oval with an abandoned airfield in the center. Lincoln, Alabama, the setting here tonight, and it should provide some fast action, pack style racing that we are all familiar with, what makes NASCAR what it is. And for these next generation stock cars, it's going to be a matter of staying right on those bumpers and pushing, shoving, a lot of mixture of different varieties, but it is an art nonetheless to get around this place. And while we are in our hiatus here, we are sitting on warm up. We have Chris Rude in the booth with us now. Chris, got to ask you first and foremost, how great is it to see this all come together and in this production and what you've envisioned it to be? It's been pretty awesome to see it all just meld and work the way it's supposed to.
Man, this has been kind of something I've had in the back of my mind for a while, and it was last summer, last fall, something like that I reached out to the admins at SNR and was kind of said, hey, what do you think about doing something like this? And they were all for it. It's been a great partnership getting Saturday Night Racing and all the guys in that league and connecting them with Walkin Rollin Costumes and great people at SNR, great people at Walkin Rollin, and it was really kind of neat to be that bridge and then to see this come together where so many people have come out and no hesitation to support and jump in a race like this to see some awesome costumes continue to be built for kids that really need it.
Well, and overall, you've had several different fundraising events and you've put on some shows in live action. Tell us a little bit. We've got some pictures scrolling over your screen right now, and I know that they're going a little bit quickly, but tell us a little bit about some of the things that you guys have constructed and maybe, you know, how much it benefited or meant to someone personally.
Yeah, there are so many stories that we just don't have time for. Let's put it simple, especially in the few minutes we've got now. But there's, stories of a kid requested a costume that was going home to basically sent home in hospice where he wasn't going to make it to Halloween. So there was a request put into Walkin Rollin. They said, we're on it. We got it taken care of. The community came together and held Halloween early for this family. So Main Street, I guess, was shut down and a restaurant hosted them. So Lon and Reese, the founders of Walkin Rollin, had taken it down there. And I guess they got a call the next morning saying that night the child had passed away. And the family said, we could not have asked for a better last day with our child. And did that with what was made for their costume, for making this just a thrilling final finale. And I know that's a somber story to start out with, but I don't know that there's a better story to tell you of what impact this can have. The psychological side of a kid's no longer in a wheelchair. He's now just another kid with a really cool costume. Time after time we hear that. So this doesn't benefit just, giving a kid a cool costume. There's a touch happening in the family that is just absolutely spectacular.
Oh, it's truly awesome to hear all of this happening and the group of people that have come together. And we have links down in the description below, but as we get set to wrap up that warm up, Chris Rude, anybody that comes to mind and that you want to talk to or shout out here while we got you up in the booth?
First of all, we got to say thanks to the broadcast team for putting this on and streaming it for us for Saturday Night Racing League, for Jeff, Reggie, Chad, all the admins there that have agreed to host this event essentially. And then for all the people that are out here supporting us, it's just touching me to see all the Walkin Rollin logos on cars. But it wouldn't have been possible if Lon and Reese hadn't decided to do this 10 years ago. This year is our 10th anniversary of building costumes, and we've done over 200 costumes to kids. So that's what it's all about, getting those costumes out to kids, because it is absolutely worth it, 110%.
Absolutely, Chris. We appreciate your time, and going to be on the racetrack tonight, not spotting for Ray Massey. So we look forward to possibly seeing the 32 up front. We'll maybe catch you in the post race as well.
We'll see. I certainly appreciate it, guys. You have a great broadcast, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Chris Rude, the mastermind behind putting this all together, does a fantastic job. Very passionate about what he does. And again, you can check out that description in this broadcast if you'd like to learn more and donate direct there on that link. Thank you for your time, Chris.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
So with that, it's time to take you trackside. Jeff, we have a race analysis we'll get to in just a moment, but let's go ahead and bring that grid up on the screen, starting on the pole here tonight. Well, as soon as it wants to cooperate with a 52.614, Tyler Dohar in the 77. He'll start to the inside of Chad Klinger. Front row with the 77 and the 09. Joseph I'm going to butcher this one. I tell you what, Jeff, this is a new name for me. Salavian. I'm going to go with that.
We'll go with it, Bradley.
Alex Bell will start to the outside. Morgan Lilly in the 00 will start in 5th. Oscar Jensen will start in 6th position. Michael Sturgill in 7th spot. Morgan Cook, VSPEED's very own, in the 8th spot. And rounding out your top 10, it's Bryce Calusa and Dakota Floyd in the 57.
And starting in 11th, it's going to be Caleb Weekly in the 13th. Almost won the SNR 500 last year. Alongside him in 12th, it's Bryce Shoemaker in the 54. Starting in 13th, going to be Trevor Keith, a new name here to racing with the guys here in the Saturday Night Racing community. Starts 13th alongside Rob Hamp in the 4-car. Philip Brewer in the 44 will start 15th alongside Kyle Peacock in that 83 machine. Nathan Reynolds will start 17th alongside SNR champion Joseph McWhorter in the 73. And in 19th, it's Matthew Robinson. Starting next to him will be Chris Root, who we just spoke to in there in the 20th position.
15 more cars, Ben Lafter and Noah Mahalski in row number 11. Then you have Logan Threll-Kelton, another VSPEED member. Starting in the 23rd position, Mike Sturgill. I believe another driver that can see the air we mentioned there a moment ago. Ryan Carwile and Ray Massey, 25th and 26th. 27th, Mark McFadden. Kevin Orlando Jr., a familiar name here on VSPEED in the Wednesday night series for Racing Rev. He'll start in 28th. 29th goes to Timothy Peters, Keith Shoemaker in 30th. 5 more cars here with Rob Denton and Devin Hudgens. Then you have 33rd with Max Cost and Joshua Banks electing not to take a time. Final car on the racetrack is Christopher Hodges in the number 34. So, Jeff, I talked to you a little bit about pre-race, who maybe is a standout in this event. There's a lot of names in here, some that we're not familiar with, but overall, who would you pick to win this race?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because Talladega and a super speedway, it really opens up that possibility to just about anybody in the field. I'm kind of looking at the guys that are starting towards the front, the guys that can kind of stay out of trouble, but people who are proven, that shown that they're really good plate racers. And tonight, I'm going to go with SNR Series League admin Chad Klinger in that 09. He's got a good starting spot, obviously very experienced at super speedways, knows what he's doing. I think he gets it done tonight here at Talladega.
Going with the 09?
09.
I don't know, man. You might have stole my pick there. Caught me off guard. We're going to have to start talking about this pre-race.
Yeah, that's because we both know how good he is here on the plate track. So, hey, if you want to pick him too, Bradley, I don't think there's any rule against that.
You know what? I'm going to go with a Challenger Series winner. He got it done at Bristol. I'm going to go with the 13. Back there a little bit deep in the field, but I think Caleb Weekly can get it done here tonight. But let's go live action racing. Flash for a Cause here in Lincoln, Alabama. The 77 of Tyler Dohar is going to lead him into turn 1. Green flag is out. Let's start it off right. Just like that, Jeff, your pick finds his way. It looks like it's going to be close here at the line. Alex Bell just barely leads that time by.
Yeah, and Alex Bell, one of those drivers who has an experience winning a Clash event, did that a season or two ago in Saturday Night Racing League. Obviously, we know how good he is on the plate tracks, but yeah, I'm sticking with my pick in that 09 Chad Klinger. I think he's got some good help. Right there behind him, Oscar Jensen, also a really good plate racer, surging Chad Klinger to the race lead. As you see that second line kind of pulling ahead here, but here comes Alex Bell there on the bottom, followed by Tyler Dohar in the 77.
Jensen giving a really good push there out of turns 3 and 4. You're going to see multiple lines develop here. Right now, everyone's pretty content with the positions they're running in, just trying to tick away some laps. 94 here tonight, 55 mile per hour pit road speed limit. Jeff, you talked about 100% fuel. How difficult is getting on and off of pit road here? They're going to be limited on those pit stops, maybe one, maybe two at the most, but it's going to be difficult if these guys run green all the way through to get down to speed on this pit road.
Yeah, it definitely is. And pit road is that area of the racetrack where you can really make a difference on, on time. So that's where you can pull away from your competitors, maybe break the draft, get away in your own group, and then it becomes, instead of one large pack out there on the racetrack, it's several different packs, and then it comes down to, which drivers are going to be the most effective at making time, pushing aggressively, making speed. And so, yeah, if we get to pit stops, which, with that 100% fuel tank, probably going to be looking at 2, maybe 3 of them tonight. We'll have to see. And also in this type of racing, you always see guys that try to save a little bit of fuel. And even if that makes you able to go a lap or two, that can be a big difference as well. So I think you're going to see a mixed strategy tonight. You're going to see the guys up here, like Alex Bell, up front, going for it, trying to lead laps. Other guys maybe towards the back. Take it easy, save some fuel, try to be there at the end.
Watching that outside line kind of deteriorate, falls back to about the 6th position there on the outside. That is the 91, Oscar Jensen. He's got the push from Dakota Floyd, and we were watching Chad Klinger on the outside there for a moment. We got a caution on the racetrack. I believe Logan Threlkeld might have been involved in this.
Oh, no, not Logan Threlkeld, not the iRacing Santa. That's not exactly who we wanted to see get collected in something. We'll see if we can catch a replay of exactly what happened. But hopefully I don't see too much significant damage on that car. So I don't know if maybe he just got turned around.
Got caught up at something else there, and I believe it was the 33. Like Sturgill was involved in that as well. You said minimal damage here, Jeff, but even then, you get these A-class cars sideways, tore through the grass. Kind of upsets the tires at the very least. You got all that debris down there, and iRacing recently with the update has put it down. If you throw dirt up on the racetrack, it can cause handling issues just driving across it.
Yeah, and you can see right there on the replay that cloud of dust that kind of kicked up as Mike Sturgill drives through the grass back onto the racetrack. And you're right, you can leave that on the racetrack. Next time the cars come by, you can pick it up on their tires, and it can make the car, lose a little bit of grip. And definitely just watching the replay here, I'm trying to see if any cars got significant damage. I don't think they did. You see Joshua Banks, Season 3 SNR champion, he went for a spin as well. Maybe, I don't think he hit anything, so I think he's okay, but these guys are probably going to have to put tires on it. 4 sets up on the pit wall, like we mentioned, but thankfully, I don't see any cars with too much damage here, Bradley. These guys do have 1 fast repair, though, so they have that in their back pocket, but this early on in the race, you probably don't want to use that, so I'm sure the guys, if they did get anything, they're probably going to get that pit crew, get the Louisville sluggers out, if you will, and try to fix that damage. But I'm guessing right here, you're seeing a lot of guys come here, take fuel, and maybe make this 1 less pit stop. So if you're not already up front, you may as well come down, fill it up. We got big fuel tanks tonight with 100% fuel load. So I like the call by the guys here to come down and fill it up.
Klinger, Michael Sturgill, Caleb Weekly, Kyle Peacock, Oscar Jensen. Some of the drivers there in the top 10 that came down in that stop, but that does put them in at the advantage. They can go a little bit further on fuel. We ran about 4.5 laps under green, and that's plenty of ground. You're watching the Clash for a Cause here on VSPEED. Again, QR code on the right-hand side of your screen if you would like a direct link. It's also in the description of this video, but you can scan that QR code. It's a great cause here. Walkin Rollin Costumes has been a premier sponsor of the Saturday Night Racing League. They helped out with the Invitational, and I can tell you, Chris Rood has always been super passionate about everything that they do over there. but overall, it's kind of crazy how many stories he has, and he remembers all of them, Jeff.
I know. I mean, we saw that collection of pictures, and he had a backstory for every single one of them. He mentioned, the relationship with Walkin Rollin and how he got involved with his son. And so, whenever you have one of your own child's involved in that type of organization, it just means more. And you could tell how much it really means to Chris when he was up here talking, right? And just such a great guy. I mean, I've been working with Chris really the past few months, just kind of talking about this event. It was just an idea that he had brought up, and then I brought it alongside to the other admins, and we talked about it, and we thought it was a no-brainer. This is somebody who's obviously supported us in our league greatly, and to put on an event like this, that's just, that's the least we can do for him, right? He's done so much, and so far the car looks good out there. I mean, I don't know, have we commented on that paint scheme yet, Bradley? That's a really good-looking car.
Neat 10 years on the hood of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he said that this is their 10th anniversary, and like we said earlier, they've done over 200 costumes for kids. So can't help but pull for that 32 car tonight here. Chris, typically running in the Challenger Series in Saturday Night Racing League the past few seasons, and also spotter and crew chief, a longtime SNR veteran, and Ray Massey, who's won some races in the Cup Series. And I know how valuable Chris is up on the spotter stand as well. But was just super great to work with Chris, trying to organize and set up this event, and to finally see it out here happening. I mean, I'm just super excited and really happy to see this out here.
Some would say this is kind of the segue into the SNR Season 4 in the Cup Series. Of course, you can check out all that action as well live here on VSPEED. We'll have flag-to-flag coverage all season long. We're going to be teeing it off at Daytona in just a week's time, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. Double back up here, about 8 laps in when we go back green. iRacing pace cars only had to come out 2 times here today, once for the grid and now for this quick little yellow. Fields don't get spread out here at I say Daytona, but Talladega. They don't. And so for a lot of these drivers, it's going to be escaping that traffic jam. Pit road is really the only escape, and when you come back out, inevitably this group of 35 cars is going to find you again.
Yeah, I'm curious to see some of the guys towards the back here, if they're going to try to make a charge again towards the front, or if they're kind of content there to just kind of hang out and try to keep things clean, wait till the end.
Let's find out. Green flag's going to go back out in the air for the second time today. Ash for a cause. Let's try again. Lap number 8 underway.
Really good jump there for Alex Bell, and that's credit to that 78 pushing him there. Joseph Sullivan gave him a really good shot. Alex Bell's going to waste no time. Jump up to the high side here and try to lead that high line. Remember
Baby on board there just the last time we saw this car on the racetrack. But I tell you what, he's not forgotten how to get around this place. Oh, trouble behind them. Big wreck down the backstretch. Devin Hudgens sideways gets pounded by the 84. That's actually Hudgens that hit I believe that was the 31 of Trevor Keith.
Yeah, he took a big hit right in the door. So I don't know how much damage that car is going to have, but you could see coming in there, the 84, he had those brakes locked up. So he was on the brakes, on him hard, but yeah, just slid into him, and still a pretty good shot to the door there. So that's probably going to result in some damage. We're surely going to see him on pit lane trying to fix that, and maybe end up having to use that fast repair. That was a hard hit.
It's about the 7th position where this happens. And watch right there, the 78, the 50, 82 rather, for Morgan Cook. Looks like that's kind of where it started. A bad push or some net code. Something happened here. Let's go on board with Morgan Cook. Get his side of the story. Oh, that one doesn't quite do it justice. So back it up a little bit more. You're going to see him get up on the bumper of the 78 here. Kind of hard to judge. It looks like maybe offset push here down the backstretch.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, he definitely got out and kind of clipped the right rear a little bit, but it was hard to see what was going on in front of Joseph Sullivan there to really result in that. I don't know if they're stacking up or what, but I know a little off topic here, but man, I really like that paint scheme of the 78. It really brings back the throwback Martin Truex Jr. vibes. But yeah, it just looks like a little bit off-centered, and that's easy to do in this car once you're not quite centered on that bumper, and it's very easy to do that. I've done that before, Bradley, believe me.
I think I've been on the receiving end of that a time or two from Jeff Wright.
Yeah, probably. Those late night official races can get pretty wild sometimes.
Sometimes you just got to hold on to it, but the 78 is going to come in here and get some of that damage repaired. Got a few takers on pit road, and well, just right on cue. I think I mentioned that before here, Jeff. We had that little gremlin that likes to show itself, so we're going to take a quick commercial break here on VSPEED, but you are watching the Clash for the Cause, benefiting Walkin Rollin Costumes. More coverage will continue on VSPEED right after this.
It feels like we achieved something bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do, and now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord, and when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair, and he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, building a simple costume, a Wall-E costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walkin Rollin Costumes. I want to reach more kids, and the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school, or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, contact us. We have lots of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume, or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.
For the first time this season, the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by MJ Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, Waddle gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger, all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League. First of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix.
Back here live at Talladega. Got some of those technical issues worked out. 11 laps complete. Crossing line with Alex Bell. Going to lead him into turn 1. Green flag back out. We're back underway.
And see Bryce Shoemaker got a good jump. The car behind him there in the 2. Bryce Calusa making a return to the community. It's been a couple years since we've seen Bryce Calusa in some races with these groups of guys, but good to see him there. Alex Bell going to lead the top, followed right in behind him. No, he's going to dip out. The 4 of Rob Hamp. He wants to go get the lead.
Hamp tried. The door got shut. Bell drops down. 3 wide for the top spot. Look who's up there on the outside. Caleb Weekly.
Oh, what a push by Michael Sturgill, pushing Chad Klinger to the race lead. Those are 2 guys you're going to have to watch out for a lot tonight. 2 both really good super speedway racers, and one of these guys can see the air. I'm not going to tell you which one, but one of them can, and that's always a pretty big advantage here at Talladega.
You also got another Sturgill out there, and I think if those 2 get connected, you said it would be an unfair advantage for these 2 drivers, or the rest of this field. Those 2 drivers could easily pull away. I thought Weekly was going to get up there, but suddenly, just in good fashion, how this car operates, suddenly a complete surge on the bottom line to take it back over.
Yeah, it looks like the run just got fizzled out, a group of cars, but Caleb Weekly now going to jump up to the 3rd line here, and he's going to take a push from the 03 and Noah Mihalski, a longtime teammate of Caleb. But it looks like that bottom line is just more organized right now. They're really starting to pull that top lane, and the top lane just doesn't have enough energy right now.
To see Alex Bell drop back to about the 6th, 7th position. Even further back now to 9th. Chad Klinger leads this time by Sherwin Williams, 09. Fancy looking paint as well. We've seen that across the board, and I love the kind of cyan and chrome. Looks great. Down there on that bottom line, they're on borrowed time. High line here with Nathan Reynolds, 51 on the move.
Yeah, another good looking paint scheme there in the 51, getting pushed by Alex Bell. We know how of an aggressive pusher Alex Bell is when he wants to get somebody to the front. He usually does, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this 51 leading this race here shortly.
They're up to about the 3rd position through this tri-oval. Across the line, another lap led for Chad Klinger. 3rd line has developed pretty stout here with the 23 of Ray Massey, and the 15 shuts the door. What a shove there into 1 and 2.
Wow, what an aggressive block. You could see right there, Ray Massey did not lift, but he was able to cover it just in time, still pushing him through the corners, trying to keep their run moving. Now the 51 of Reynolds in the middle is going to fall back a little bit, and this high line is really starting to surge.
And it's weird, but you talk about the aerodynamics on this car. That 3rd line is actually the one that prevails. That middle line doesn't work as well in this car. You're going to see them form down here. They're trying to pull side draft, Jeff. The art of doing that, it's a whole new ingredient to plate racing. We haven't seen it as much, but when this car rolled out, it was almost impossible on that inside line to lead laps.
Yeah, and like you said, the middle's not the place to be, and it's not really because, that line doesn't work. It's just because if you get trapped there and you have cars on the bottom and on the top, well, then you're getting air dumped on your... Right, that was really close there. But you're getting air dumped on your spoiler from both sides, and that's what pulls you back there. So, yeah, you're right. Usually the top lane is the one to be in. And here comes Ryan Carwile being pushed hard by the 35 of Joshua Banks, the Season 3 SNR champion. He was just at the back a little bit ago, wasn't he?
Caution is out, and yes, he was, but decent crash here. It looks like Max Cost. So my camera starts dancing around here. Max Cost. A little bit of damage there, maybe on the left-hand side, but pretty minimal. We just got him going about 5 laps in a row. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, saw Max Cost up in the mix here, so wasn't exactly sure what happened here. He's just kind of minding his own business down here on the bottom. Looks like they get stacked up a little bit and gets off the nose there. Chris Root. Oh, heavy hit. Ben Laughter in the 64 hit him hard. And I'm trying to look who that car is there up on the outside. Wasn't quite able to see the number on there, but unfortunate for Max. He's obviously a very good plate racer. He's won clashes before, specifically in the Below the Double Yellow Racing League, which takes place on Tuesday nights. both Max and I long-term or long-time members of that racing league, and anytime the Clash event comes around, man, it just seems like Max finds something. He's won that race twice, and unfortunate to see him get the damage here early on, but I think there's time to get that either fixed, or maybe this is where he uses his fast repair and then gets back into this race a little bit later.
It was the 43 of Timothy Peters.
Yeah, he's got Joe Gibbs Racing there on the side. Timothy Peters going to be making a full-time effort in the SNR Challenger Series this season. Looks like he'll more than likely need to use that fast repair, because that's the type of hit I don't think you're going to be able to get repaired on pit lane. So unfortunate, he's going to have to burn that fast repair here fairly early. I mean, we're not too far into this race, only 17 laps in, and looks like he already did just elect to go ahead and use that fast repair. So now he's going to have to do some heads-up driving and try to stay out of trouble, and otherwise that night could be ended early.
Trying to gauge who all has used that fast repair. Ben Laughter looks like he's burned one of those. Philip Brewer has also used one. It's another factor here. You have that in your back pocket, but for some of these drivers, you got to make that judgment call. And so is the damage bad enough? Is it something that you can repair on pit road? Like you said, that hit there on that outside wall for the 43 and the 63, probably not going to be repairable in the timely fashion that it would take to go back green. So maybe burning that fast repair is your only option. However, you want to try to keep that as long as you can throughout this race. Come by maybe 10 to go, you're going to need it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do, right, is have to use that fast repair, because we know how chaotic these races get towards the end. And, we usually do see a big one, sometimes around 10 to go. There's a crash that could collect 20 cars. And if you don't have a fast repair, well, there goes your shot at winning the race. So, yeah, a lot of these guys, I'm sure, are not wanting to use it. And I think we still have a few of those guys that are electing, to try to just get as much of this fixed on pit lane. It's incredible how durable this race car is. This next gen can handle damage pretty well. It just depends on where you get it. If you get it, straight on the nose or straight at the rear of the car, you can usually fix all that. It's kind of the weird angles that are vulnerable with this race car. And I think with some of those hits, you saw the guys had no choice but to use it. But the guys that still had tires up, I bet you they're doing best they can to try and make sure that they still got that fast repair available later in the race.
Well, while we have a moment here during this caution, it's a perfect opportunity to maybe bring up some drivers. And the first one I'm going to pull up into the booth, it's Timothy Peters. TJ, I got to ask, there's a handful of things going on. It looked like you had the momentum there on the outside, and then suddenly the doors just slammed shut.
Dude, I'm trying. Like, I know there's 94 laps left. Like, we're getting 3 wide. Like, it's just, I don't know why we're being so aggressive with, 94 laps to race, and it's just going ridiculous. But I mean, it's all good. I'm trying to find the right line to get up there to the front so I can compete and be up there and kind of stay out of the mess and everything. So, but hey, we got Cody Anderson on top of the box. Unfortunately, we had to use a fast repair, but I mean, we're gonna keep digging, dude.
Well, it looks like right now this race is still in its infancy, and you're putting down some laps, ticking things away. What's the mindset past the halfway point?
Past the halfway point, man, honestly, I think we're still just going to ride. Me, personally, as a super speedway racer, I try not to push unless there's 10, maybe 5 laps to go. If I'm a little further back in the field, I'll probably do 20 laps or 15. I'll start pushing up to the front. But I'm just trying to survive right now. As you can see, it's just kind of a mess with everybody snaking around and choosing what lanes they want to run. So I think once we're up there in the front with 10 or 5 to go, we're going to make some moves happen. We're going to throw some blocks.
Let's see what the 43 has in store for us, Timothy. Appreciate your time, and good luck out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Timothy Peters has Cody Anderson up on the box as we get set to go back green on lap number 20. He'll be restarting here in 25th position. Morgan Lilly, the leader for this next restart. Tyler Dohar on the outside. Joseph Sullivan, Ryan Carwile, and Alex Bell, the top 5. It's your SNR Season 3 champion, Joshua Banks there, just outside the top 5 on the outside line. He's got Alex Bell to his inside. Get those two paired up Tell you what, Jeff, that's another dangerous pair at this racetrack.
Yeah, two guys that really know how to go fast and go to the front quick. And before we wrecked there, I was going to say, where did Joshua Banks come from? He was starting at the tail end of the field. Next thing we knew it, he was battling here for the race lead.
Elected not to take a time, started back in the 33rd position, 34th position, if I remember correctly, and some of this telemetry might not be fully correct. But green flag back underway, Lily into turn 1. Let's see if the aggression continues, or are we going to dial it back and tick away some of these laps?
Yeah, hopefully we get some green flag racing here. I know these guys are excited. I know they want to go to the front, and you're just going to have that sometimes here at plate racing. Joshua Banks locked onto the bumper here of the 71 of Ryan Carwile to see if they can get some momentum moving here. Usually the high side's where you want to be, and usually, if I'm, towards the front of the leader, I want to be on the top too. So I'm kind of surprised to see, Morgan and Joseph, Tyler all lined up on the bottom there. I think once they cleared, I would have been trying to get to the top and just control the race so much better from that standpoint.
Well, the momentum is definitely brewing. It's building up here with the 71 of Carlisle giving a shove, and he has branched out. He probably pulled a 10th there on the 35 of Banks. And just like that, they pull 6/10 to get up to the lead. Alex Bell, lap 20.
Yeah, great push there by Ryan Carwile to send him back to the race lead here. And they just barely slot in it there on the bottom. And I wouldn't be surprised to see these three cars right here, and Alex and Ryan, Josh, try to just work with each other. Maybe try to get away from the rest of the field, try to protect that race lead.
So the camera is a little bit close together here. That's how locked in Carlisle is on the back of the 15. The 35 follows suit. They all dump down to the bottom line. Looks like maybe the second line gonna resurge. 51 of Reynolds now has the momentum. That's how quickly it can happen. The 4 of Rob Hamp. You're asking about where Carlisle came from. I think with this car, you could be in 20th position and within a lap work your way to the top 2 positions easily.
Oh man, that could have been a close one there.
Oh boy, 4 wide.
4 wide here. Yeah, 4 wide at Talladega. You can do it, but you're always holding your breath when you do. Looks like they're going to make it work. That definitely could have been a big accident. I think they dodged one. But yeah, everybody just kind of trying to find their spot there, and we almost ran out of track space right there.
Instant replay. There's a lot of contact back here in the mid-pack, and like you said, 4 wide can be done, and it's something that you're holding your breath, and when you're in a moment like that where it's all so sudden, you didn't intentionally go 4 wide, you weren't trying to make a predictable move, you just got forced into that situation. I think for a lot of these drivers back here, they're just trying to survive this race.
Yeah, and you saw Bryce Calusa there kind of make a move there to the outside of Chris Rudin. I don't know if Chris was maybe trying to cover it, maybe didn't know he was there, but it definitely resulted in Bryce losing a lot of track position. But guess what? You got the former champion there, Joseph McWhorter. He's going to push you back up to the front. I'm sure it's not going to be long. We're going to see those guys back up in the mix.
On board with the former champion. Season 2. 73 giving a big... That is insane.
Yeah, I mean, he was wasting no time. Latched onto the back of him. And we'll see if they elect to maybe try to go 3 wide. Looks like Chad Klinger wants to go 3 wide. And here we go, the dynamic duo here. And Michael Sturgill, Chad Klinger, they want to go to the front, but looks like they're going to have McWhorter. He's going to jump in front of him, and he's going to take this ticket probably to the race lead here. We'll see if Caleb Weekly tries to cover it.
Weekly does not jump up in front. The third line on a freight train. Here we go to the front of this field. They've gained 7 spots in one corner. Here they go to the top 5. Top 3. Still glued to the bumper. This is where things get real, though. When you're up on that high line, the other factor is that wall. It's very easily done. You can push yourself too hard. When you're locked on these bumpers, that back end's getting really light.
It's getting really light, and also you got to watch your temperatures. I mean, I knew as soon as these guys got lined up, they're going to make a surge to the race lead, and here they are. And it's just so much fun to be able to watch these guys from the broadcast booth standpoint, lock bumpers and make up that amount of time. And we saw those guys go from pretty much 25th all the way to the race lead in a matter of, what, a lap and a half? These guys are really getting after it.
We had a little connection issue there. It looks like Alex Bell has fallen out of the session. Must have been on the same servers that VSPEED was on here tonight. And I know there's a little gremlin here on iRacing as of late. Can't really pinpoint what the problem is. But for the 15, out of the race as of right now, and that really stings when you're leading the race and everyone disappears.
Yeah, really unfortunate for him. Obviously, he was up in the mix. He was leading laps. But it's going to be Oscar Jensen taking the race lead here. And I think that's the 54 Bryce Shoemaker. No, that's Kyle Peacock. Some similar paint schemes out here. Kyle Peacock on the bottom now, getting pushed by, I want to say, is that Rob Denton?
91.
91. That's going to be Oscar
Jensen.
Jensen.
Sounds like Oscar Jensen.
Yeah, I was going to say Rob Denton's going to be in the 93 tonight, and he's currently riding right smack dab in the middle of this pack in 19th as we speak. Another sponsor that's coming on board for the upcoming Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. So big thanks to Rob, and excited to announce some of the in-season prizes that he and a few of our other sponsors are going to be providing to our drivers. So just a lot of generous people in this league and in this community. So just super excited and super thankful for the guys that make that happen.
I'm super excited for a possible NBC-style broadcast. If you haven't heard Rob Denton talk, it was a perfect impersonation. I'll leave it at that.
He really does. There is no doubt about that. Joseph McWhorter, he's going to surge out ahead of Kyle Peacock here now. We'll see if he's going to drop in line. He does. Kyle Peacock, another one of those guys that we talk about that when you think of plate racing, you think of him. Won some big races on plate tracks, and I know he's hungry, especially to try and go out and get a Clash win here. And inside the 83 Walkin Rollin Costumes Toyota Camry, looking pretty good out there. And I know he's got some good help behind him too, right there with Oscar Jensen in the 91.
Again, that QR code up on your screen right now, it will directly link you to our donation link for the iRacing segment of Walkin and Rolling Costumes in the Clash for a Cause. Walkin Rollin Costumes putting on a great show here tonight. I gotta say, Jeff, this couldn't have came together any better. It had a little bit of a rocky start, but right now these guys are thundering around Talladega. It's been a phenomenal race.
Yeah, and they're putting on a good show for sure. And we've seen some guys go from the back to the front. We saw a handful of wrecks, but it looks like these guys are kind of starting to get their footing. I know that Talladega, sometimes it's a track where you just kind of got to hold your breath, but it doesn't look like these guys are just sitting and riding around. These guys are getting after it, so it's putting on a show for us, but they're also putting on some good, clean racing. How about that 54 in the top lane, Bryce Shoemaker? I think we got a driver cam of him tonight. Looks like he's going to try to maybe use Bryce Calusa in the number 2 car to take his ticket to the race lead here. Try to do it on the high side.
We do absolutely have a driver camera on board with Bryce Shoemaker right now. Pretty locked in and focused. Checking to the left. He knows on that outside he can get that run. Let's see if he can hold it all the way down this back straightaway.
Yeah, he's doing well over 200 right now with Calusa pushing him there. So Bryce starting to make up some ground. And when you're on the outside here, and you're getting pushed like that, the last thing you want to see is somebody, pull out a line from the middle lane and move up to the top, because then it just kills your momentum. And it can be so tempting to just keep your foot in it and just ram into the back of them. Sometimes that can result in some big wrecks here. So I'm sure that Bryce is just hoping that Oscar and Mark McFadden there in the 5 that we haven't talked about yet, if they can keep that energy in that top lane and nobody pulls out in front of them, wouldn't be surprised to see these 3 guys up in the front.
3 wide back here, midway in the pack.
You know who
you
I
see
would not
McWhorter
want
a
to
little
be?
block.
Yeah, that's a little aggressive there, but he's going to make it work. Max Koss back in it. He got caught in that early wreck, but he is back in the mix here. He's going to slot in right behind Kyle Peacock. I was going to say, you know who I don't want to be in this situation? Right smack dab in the middle. Caleb Weekly in the 13. Got cars all around you. If they wreck, he has nowhere to go.
Right now, sitting at 197 miles per hour through that tri-oval. Had to lift out of the throttle a little bit. Some of these cars going well over 200 into the entry of turn 1. That middle line kind of snaking around, but everyone's following suit. Everyone's jumped on board this train. You can see some gutsy calls. The 54 peeking to the outside. A little block here from the 91. Oscar Jensen going to go to the front.
Yeah, now he's got Bryce pushing him here, so now Oscar was doing some of the pushing, but now it's going to be Bryce Shoemaker doing the pushing on the top lane here. And I know Bryce is a very good plate racer. We've done a lot of plate racing in various leagues and in iRacing officials, and always somebody that finds himself towards the front here. And right now, it looks like he's sending Oscar Jensen to the front here on that third line. Caleb Weekly has joined, teammate working with these guys, or at least working with Bryce. So we'll see
in the wall for the 54, and that's trouble.
That's a commentator's purse if I've ever seen it. That's a big one.
And the 54 goes around. Not quite sure what happened here.
Yeah, it just looked like he got tagged in the left rear and going to be along for the ride. I don't know if they were getting stacked up or something killed a lot of the momentum on the high side, and then just kind of had that, just kind of that chain of events where it looked like Bryce was he's pushing, but then they get slightly disconnected, and that kind of bogs everybody up, and then Caleb tags him in the left rear there, just nowhere to go. Once they kind of got off-centered there was, they lost so much speed that the Highline cars that had no time to check up. But fortunate for these guys, I don't believe they've used their fast repairs. So if that is the case, we will see these guys back out here. We're working just about a third of the way through tonight's event here in the Clash for a Cause, presented by Walkin Rollin Costumes.
This is on board with the 5 of Mark McFadden, and you're going to watch, I believe it was the 54 of Shoemaker that got up into the wall here. McFadden nowhere to go, and you were talking about it there with Weekly just a moment ago, if they wrecked where he was, but he moved up to that outside. And in that corner, there's still nowhere to go. This racetrack at that speed, it's going to send all those cars up to that outside wall.
Yeah, especially, we're just a pack of cars there. There's some people you have absolutely nowhere to go. And Mark McFadden was one of those in the 5 car that we just watched on board. He was just trailing there, the 4th car there in the 5, right behind Caleb Weekly, who we're on board with now. Yeah, it looks like Bryce catches the wall. Caleb pretty much had nowhere to go, and then Mark had nowhere to go. Noah Mahalski looks like he just gets through. It'll be interesting to see an onboard with him. But yeah, definitely some more guys that are probably more than likely going to have to burn that fast repair now. I don't think Mark, it got doored a little bit, but damage was minimal for Noah. So I don't know.
We go on board with the 82. Morgan Cook was right in the middle of all of that. And somehow there's still fenders on that machine.
Yeah, that's just a tough situation. See a crash happen in front of you, try to do everything you can to try to stay out of it. But sometimes at Talladega, it's pack racing. There's nowhere to go.
Quickly, it can happen here. Ray Massey will be your leader for the next restart, approaching that halfway point. You're watching the Clash for a Cause live here on VSPEED. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to try to regain my composure and my voice. But again, don't go anywhere. More coverage live on VSPEED. The Saturday Night Racing League right after this.
Start your engines!
And for the first time this season, the Saturday Night Racing League, presented by MJ Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, Shadow gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger, all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League. First of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix. But the 73 of Joseph McWhorter is going to be your season 2 champion. Here he comes off of turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway.
Banks takes him 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Look at this, 3 wide again. The top 3 still 3 wide for the lead. Banks on the inside, right in the middle, Kevin on the outside.
I can't believe what I'm watching right now.
Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind, this is my prime. Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind.
Pull those belts tight. You're watching Saturday Night Racing League, only on VSPEED.
Back here live from Talladega, Ray Massey on the outside, the Walkin Rollin Costumes 23. Got some Clark Print Shop on that machine as well. But Ray Massey doesn't have Chris Root up on the box right now, but somehow has navigated his way without a spotter to the front of this field. To the inside, Philip Brewer, Bryce Kalusa, and Timothy Peters, row number 2. Then you have Chad Klinger, driver that started up front in this race, back in 5th position. But Jeff, it's been a fun one so far. Pace car is going to get out of our way. We're past the halfway point, just about at it anyway. We've got about 10-15 laps left here. Things are going to get more and more intense as this race progresses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we got a good run there through, that stage of the race there. But at Talladega, you're always got to be aware of the big crash. It happens so often here. But a lot of these guys have done a good job navigating it so far. We see Ray Massey in the 23. Just taking the lead away now from Philip Brewer in the 44. He's getting a good push here from Bryce Kalusa. And behind him, my pick to win tonight's race, it's the 09 Chad Klinger, followed by Michael Sturgill in that outside lane.
On board with Klinger on the bottom there to the left-hand side, and you got Philip Brewer getting a good push, and that'll work here for a little bit. That inside has been really good on restarts, but they're going to want to get clear and get to that middle. Based off of what we've been seeing, it looks like that middle to outside line is where you want to be overall.
Yeah, at least that's where I want to be. A lot of these guys, all you see, they're kind of, for a while there, man, that outside looked like it was going to have problems, but they got it sorted out. Chad's going to push the 2 car back up to the 23, but you see Timothy Peters, he was in a wreck early on, but now he finds himself right here in P2. He was telling me that, that he kind of just wants to hang out towards the back and, not be too aggressive and keep the car clean and not have to do any pushing till late in the race, but you're up at the front now. You have no choice but to be aggressive here. And here comes Philip Brewer with a big block there. I'm sure Timothy's probably not going to be too happy with that. But so far they're keeping it clean here. It's just when you're out front, you want to try to stay out front, right? You want to control those lanes, and sometimes you got to do some aggressive blocking.
So putting it down for lap 37, Philip Brewer with a block, but down to the inside, the 2. Looked like Kalusa was going to move. No help on the back bumper. That inside line falls apart again. You can see how hard it is just to keep it going.
Yeah, they're really getting stacked up here on the bottom lane. I keep seeing, looks like the 11 of Matthew Robinson and the 46. They're just not quite able to get hooked up here. Looks like the 2 of Bryce Kalusa is now going to drop down to the bottom. See if Timothy Peters can send him kind of towards the front here. But looks like that lead pack was getting away just a bit. That draft is just too strong. These guys are going to get pulled right back up into that lane.
Still have all 35 cars going around here at Talladega. Philip Brewer going to lead another time by. Ray Massey giving the shove to keep that car up front, and then you have your pick just behind that. Chad Klinger holding tight Now, if you ride on board here with the 23 car, you're going to see a completely different approach. As you see a little bit of movement here down the backstretch, 2 car to the bottom. Oh, sideways, Klinger's around, and trouble on the backstretch. It looks like 6 or 7 cars involved, and they keep piling in.
Yeah, that's a big crash there, and Chad gets turned around, gets in it. I don't know if Chad's used his or not, but was certainly there in the race lead. Just these guys are being aggressive. They want to get to the front, and they want to get to the front right now, obviously, and they're going to collect another handful of good race cars in it. Have to see exactly what kind of triggered this.
He had that run down there with the 2 car. It branched out onto the bottom line. We saw the momentum swing. That group had kind of pushed back a little bit. Maybe some contact here. Yeah, bad push from the 4 into the back of the 2.
It looks like he's going to get away okay. I don't see a ton of damage on the 4. Definitely could have been worse for him. Yeah, they get a big run here. He's going to follow Calusa here on the bottom. Calusa is kind of side drafting.
Yep.
Yeah, and that shove from the 4 just kind of sent him up into that middle lane of guys. So just the product of Talladega. I mean, you have a run, you're trying to push, you're trying to keep your lane moving. But sometimes those pushes, if you don't get them quite square, it can send you into the inside. And that looks like that's kind of what happened there.
Oh.
Well,
Sure,
Bradley, while we work under the caution here, what do you say we get a former SNR Cup Series champion, last season champion actually, Joshua Banks up in the booth?
Absolutely.
Joshua Banks. Jeff Wright, Bradley Cooper up in the VSPEED booth. Do you have a copy?
I got you, brother.
Well, driver, we're going to see if we can get your driver cam pulled up too, but you've been fun to watch out there tonight. I know you started towards the back, and it wasn't long before you saw yourself pretty much in the race lead. I saw you and Joseph McWhorter, I think Chad Klinger, maybe get hooked up together. I mean, what's it take to be able to push like that and get to the front? You guys made it look easy.
You just got to find the right guy who's willing to go, you know, and when you're just following the leader, following in line, it's a lot of tongue twisters on that one. But if you can find somebody you can push the crap out of and somebody pushing you, man, you can work through the field, man. It's fun with these things. It can be a little hectic at times, but it's fun.
I know your teammate Alex Bell was somebody you're probably looking forward to working with tonight. I'm guessing connection issues got him out of here.
Yeah, definitely connection issues, and it took him a little bit to get that thing up and running again. So Chad's letting him get his lap backs enough to probably get back into this race. You can see him trying to get his laps what he can, and hopefully he'll get back into this race and we can start working together again.
Yeah, I know he's probably one of those guys you're looking forward to working with the most. If he, for some reason, can't get all those laps back, I mean, obviously we saw you work with McWhorter. Saw you work with a few other guys. Is there anybody out here in this field that you'd be as comfortable with as Alex Bell, or is that kind of your guy to go to with those super speedways? You guys have obviously accomplished a lot on the super speedways and are always guys to look out for.
Oh, yeah. We two worked real well together here on these super speedways, and sucks that it happened. But right now we're looking at Carlisle. He and I done really good working together. He and I it was he and I that worked up to the field that first little run there and kind of stuck together for a little while and then kind of just got shuffled around. So definitely Carlisle right now I'm looking for, but you know me, Jeff, that when Bell's not here, I'm on my own. So we're just going to take whatever runs we can get with whoever we can get and just keep this car up front.
All right, driver, that sounds good. Best of luck out there. Thanks for talking with us.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
So that was Joshua Banks in the 35. We've seen him kind of squeak through some of these wrecks. There's obviously some chaos going out there. It is Talladega after all, but definitely one of the drivers I'd say that's made some of the biggest moves, certainly one of the biggest movers, or I think the biggest mover, starting back in 35th in the 35 car. He's up to second.
That's no small feat here at Talladega, but in this car, you got to find the partners, you got to find the run. Like he said, he's kind of on his own right now. He might have a driver stick behind him for a lap or two. Really, you got to find out who your friends are. It's It makes you feel a lot better when you have somebody you're familiar with, that you've worked with, or is a teammate behind you, giving you that push. But if you can find somebody, maybe make some new friends up here in the front, could come in handy here later in this race.
And Bradley, I'm looking at some of the donations links that we had on screen. I don't know if you can bring the QR code back up on screen, but we already got plenty of people donating. So just a big thank you to everybody watching out there tonight that has scanned that QR code and donate to Walkin Rollin Costumes. They're a fantastic nonprofit organization doing great work. And, you know, guys like Chris Rude to put these events on and put the awareness out there. So feeling generous tonight and looking to give back. I couldn't think of a better nonprofit organization to donate to. So thank you to everybody that has contributed, and hopefully we can raise some more money for this. It's awesome to see it so far here, having this event and also being able to raise funds for Walkin Rollin Costumes. So thank you to everybody that's contributed.
You can scan that QR code. You can also go down to the link in the description. We'll direct you to their website. Appreciate everyone that makes their donations, and I'd like to thank Walkin Rollin Costumes for making this possible. Clash for the cause. Setting back to go green. Race Calusa, Joshua Banks, Timothy Peters, Dakota Floyd, and Morgan Cook into that top 5. And an up and down day for quite a few of these drivers. A lot of faster pairs starting to get used up. But here we go into the restart zone. 5th time today, green flag is out. Calusa with a good jump here into 1.
Yeah, and he's immediately going to move up to, thought about moving up to that top lane to be pushed by Joshua Banks. But he's going to stay here on the bottom. Here comes Timothy Peters. No, he doesn't want to work with him. He wants to get to the outside. And now maybe he's going to use Joshua Banks to push him to the race lead.
Banks going to give the shove, the 35, a big push down the backstretch. Got a shove from Dakota Floyd behind him here. On board with Banks again here.
Yeah, Mark McFadden's going to take the move down to Banks' inside there. Problem is, he doesn't have any help. This lane by Joshua Banks and Timothy Peters, and the 51 is going to keep this lane moving. So no help on the bottom. Finally, the 27 car is going to slot in line. That's Kevin Orlando Jr. We'll see if Mark McFadden can maybe push him back up to the front.
So Kevin Orlando, one of those names I talked about in the Wednesday night league, has the 5 of McFadden, but not a lot of help here. And even if he did get glued to that bumper, you see a dive down to the bottom, maybe unintentional. The 31 jumps out of line. I don't know that that's going to work here, Jeff. We've seen time and time again that side draft is just so strong. It's going to keep that middle going.
Yeah, it really is. And especially you got a good pusher right now like Banks. That's going to keep him, keep this lane moving for sure. If I'm anybody behind him and I see Joshua Banks is up in the top lane pushing, that's the lane I want to be in. So yeah, these guys on the bottom are going to try to make some ground up, but when you got some aggressive pushers pushing as well as Josh is, and look at, he just latched right on the back of Timothy Peters. That lane's going to be tough to pass.
We go deeper through this field, back to the 10th position. Philip Brewer there on the outside of Morgan Cook. This is for the 10th spot, just trying to get something going. Haven't seen that third line in quite some time. We were 3 wide to start this race. I think we're going to see 3 wide, maybe with 10 to go. But for the first 10 laps, guys were trying it out. It's definitely a possibility if you wanted to get to the front.
And now we're seeing Keith followed by Orlando. They're making their run to the front here. And so far, we're still double file. I'm just waiting to see who's going to pull out a line here and who's going to make that third line again. I know there's a lot on the line tonight, Bradley, with the different with the prize purse. Half of the proceeds going directly to Walkin Rollin, half of the proceeds going to our top 5 finishers tonight. So we're seeing some aggressive racing, but I feel like some of these guys got to keep in mind to get some of that prize money. You got to be there at the end.
Yeah, you got to survive. In order to finish first you must finish. Timothy Peters understood that assignment. Said he was going to relax, but I don't know. Is he kicking back here in the lead? How relaxed are you if you're leading this pack in the middle line right now?
Well, with Joshua Banks behind me, I'd feel pretty good that he's probably going to keep me out front, as long as he doesn't pull out of line and try to go for the race lead himself. But yeah, the race lead might be the safest place in the field at the moment, just because, you know, everything else that's going on behind you doesn't really affect you. So I'm sure that Timothy, now that he's got the track position, I'm sure that mindset has shifted a little bit. Back when he was running, you know, towards the tail end of the pack, you got to be on your toes. You got to be ready to get on the brakes to miss something. But when you're out front, you got Joshua Banks pushing you. It's smooth sailing.
Another lap led there for the 43 of Peters down to the inside to look a little bit further back in this field. This is about the 20th position. Not much different. It's a traffic jam on board with the 12 of Logan Threlkeld.
Yeah, I think we got a driver cam of him. He goes by the name of iRacing Santa, and for good reason. See if we can get that driver cam up on stream. There it is. That's why he's called the iRacing Santa. So riding right now in 19th, kind of right in the middle of the pack. Probably, you know, in this situation, I'm sure his heart beats up a little bit. You've got to be on your toes. You've got to be ready for, you know, any sort of crash or incident to happen in front of you. And especially, I think he's already used his fast repair.
You said got to be on your toes. So here it is, a little bit of Bob Ross. And it was discussed there what Logan would say if he got pulled up into the booth. I don't know if I'm going to beat him to this or not. But if he avoids a crash, happy little accident, I believe is what he called it.
Yeah, it looks like he might have a little bit of damage on that nose too. So I think either he has not, either he's already used his fast repair and he can't get it fully fixed, or he's expecting that there's probably going to be some more carnage here. And at Talladega, that could probably happen, and it probably is likely. So Logan might be just kind of hanging on to the tail of the draft. I'm sure his car doesn't have the greatest speed with that nose damage, but he's still right up here in the mix.
Yeah, definitely has that fast repair still in the back pocket, but look at the damage in this machine, and a few others that have some slight amount of damage that they picked up earlier in this race. You're going to try to keep that fast repair as long as you can. That's what these drivers are kind of unintentionally, you're trained to do that. If you've ever raced in an official race, you're going to do that nonetheless. You don't get a fast repair, so it's a little bit tougher in the official series. Luckily here for the Clash for the Cause, we do have that benefit. Out here on the third line, though, a little block. There's Carwile moving up in front of Morgan Cook. And a big shove down the backstretch, all the way to the lead. Here we go.
Yeah, look at that run they got on the outside here. In the middle lane's going to get a little disorganized. Timothy Peters goes down to the bottom. Ryan Carwile on the top. He's making up some big ground.
71 from about 20th position all the way to the top spot. And out of turn 4, he has the lead. They are clear by 2 car lengths.
Yeah, and just props to the pushing there by Morgan Cook, I believe, right, in the 82. It's kind of hard to read the number, but I see VSPEED on the side of the car, so I'm going to guess that's Morgan Cook. He just basically sent Ryan Carwile to the race lead.
It is the 82 of Morgan Cook, and that number a little bit tougher to read, like you said. Had some last-minute changes to that number font, but there it is. A good look at it. Drops all the way to the bottom here. I don't know if that was the move here into 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. Got the 4 of Hamp that drops down in front of him. Carwile is going to probably retain the lead.
I'm looking at these 2 guys right now, Caleb Weekly, Kyle Peacock now, 2 teammates that are going to be pretty much in line now. I bet you they would be willing to try to basically ditch the 71 of Ryan Carwile and try to maybe send him towards the back. But right now, Caleb's kind of laying off the bumper here of the 83. I think it's just Kyle's pushing the 71 so hard that Caleb might not have a chance to be at his bumper right now. And yeah, he's going to split him 3 wide. Here comes Kyle Peacock through the middle. Caleb Weekly going to follow suit just as I thought might happen. But look at the run Banks has on the top. Gives a big shot to the 71 of Ryan Carwile. That's going to keep their lane moving. But now Morgan Cook to the outside of Rob Hamp here for the race lead.
And outside is definitely the place to be. The further out you can get, the better off you are. Kyle Peacock is going to push on the back of Morgan Cook. this time by. For the 82, it's going to be really, really close. Cook just got it.
Wow, could you imagine if that would have been the finish of tonight's race? That would have been picture perfect. And hey, we could still get a fantastic finish, but this racing is very entertaining right now. A lot of good racing, a lot of good pushing going on. But when you're pushing this hard, Bradley, all it takes is one mistake, and there goes the entire field.
Max Koss now up to third position. Morgan Cook drops back just like that. It happens that fast. Morgan Cook went from the lead that time by back to 7th.
How about Max Koss in the 63, finding his self up to the front again. We saw him get involved in the wreck early, like we mentioned. We talked about his resume, how good he is in these clash races, specifically in the BTDY Racing Series. He's won 2 of them, I think, in the last 3 seasons. So the 63, I feel like we've got to keep an eye on him tonight. Not doing anything too crazy, nothing too flashy, but he's finding himself up front, making good moves when it counts. Watch out for the 63 as we get closer to the end of this race.
Bottom line surges ahead here. I think a little bit of temperature problems for the outside line. 35 of Banks was not able to push that time out of 2. And it looks like the bottom is going to prevail. Morgan Cook pushes Logan Threlkel to the lead. How about that? Where did Logan Threlkel come from with all that damage?
Yeah, forget about the damage. He's leading this race. We were just on board with him a moment ago. I'm sure it's getting hot under that Santa beard, but I don't know how fast that car is going to be as the lead car with that damage. I think he's okay following cars, staying in the draft, but I think we're kind of seeing that damage kind of show its wear right now. It's really starting to drag that middle lane. I think that Morgan Cook, he probably might want to ditch Logan. I know they're 2 VSPEED friends, but I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, unfortunate there that Threlkel had all that damage. He probably could have led that time by. Cook had pretty much glued himself to that bumper, but like you said, that front end just kind of a parachute, and it kind of causes a scatter here. You had the bottom line fall apart so quickly. Look at everyone fanning out. Are we approaching some kind of pit stop that I don't know about? Because everyone is fanning out towards the outside.
I mean, if there's some drivers that have not pit yet, yeah, we probably could be, but I think we've had enough cautions that mostly everybody has visited pit lane to either top off or fill up. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to say. I guess if we see guys start peeling off the pit lane here, we'll know, but it still looks like these guys are getting very racy. And looks like Jensen going to get to the inside of Joshua Banks, but Ryan Carwile is there to pick him up. We're going to lock bumpers and try to make a run to the front. But how about Bryce Shoemaker back to the race lead, courtesy of Timothy Peters? I don't know if we can pull up Bryce again, but he is up on the wheel, leading laps now in that Walkin Rollin Toyota Camry.
Through 3 and 4, has the push from the 43 of Peters. Outside line for Bell. On the move. Not going to be enough, though. Peters is going to keep this 54 car in front of him.
And I know Peters is not doing what he wants to do right now, and that's pushing right now. But when you're the second car in line, leader's right in front of you, you have to push. So I know he didn't want to have to be aggressive this early, but he's getting after it. He's keeping that 54 out front. And it looks like that outside lane's starting to get a little bit disorganized, but here comes Peacock. He's going to start organizing that outside lane with Caleb Weekly. We'll see if these guys can go and snatch it. And those 83 and the 54, they look like identical twins out there. We got another set of twins out there in the 3 and the 33. Michael Sturgill and Mike Sturgill, a little father and son duo. Watch out for those guys later on.
Looking back there with the 34, Christopher Hodges not having the race that he wanted here tonight. Has fallen off the pace and lost the draft. 34 of Hodges, 29th position right now, but this top 10 spots, I don't know if I'd want to be up here either. Caleb Weekly gets Peacock to the lead. To the outside for Shoemaker, trying to take it back over. Peters moves up, so does Kyle Peacock to the middle line.
Yeah, they're going to kind of ditch Caleb Weekly in the 13 out there. And Bryce Shoemaker is going to get to the outside of Peacock, and now looks like Bryce is probably in the best spot right now of these guys. They just like being on the top, but he's moving all around. He's controlling the lanes, and I believe that's the 51 there. I'm trying to pull up who that is. Nathan Reynolds on the bottom. Boy, it's getting dicey out here, Bradley.
Yes, it is. These guys moving around a lot. Shoemaker had moved up 3 lanes, back and forth, bottom to the top, back down to the bottom. Then coming out of 4, he hooked back up with Peters. It wasn't enough. Kyle Peacock back to the lead. Looks like Oscar Jensen. Where do these guys keep coming from, Jeff? I see names up here in the top 10. Maybe drops back to 20th position, and suddenly they're back up in the 2nd spot.
Yeah, they really are. Jensen's been one of them. Michael Sturgill, Chad Klinger, been those type of guys that have been at the front, to the back to the front. These guys are going to be dangerous now that they're up here. Wouldn't be surprised here we see Sturgill try to pull out a line. If Klinger can get clear, and if they can go grab the lead. It looks like he's thinking about it, speaking to the inside. Chad Klinger, he will go with him. Those are teammates. But man, Jensen,
the outside.
Jensen is pushing Peacock so hard right now. I don't think they can even build a run.
All the way through 1 and 2, glued to that back bumper. Kyle Peacock down the back stretch. A little breathe there for Jensen, trying to get some air on the front end of that Toyota Camry.
Yeah, gonna have to breathe it a little bit.
Block
That's gonna
here.
open up the door here for, I believe, Morgan Cook. Ooh, I bet you he had to lift there. He is probably not gonna be happy. He's gonna feel like he just basically got chopped. But now they're getting away a little bit. He's gonna be able to build another run here with the strap. See what he does with it here. He can get clear of Michael Sturgill on the outside, which I just looks like he can't quite. Now he does. See if he jumps up in front of him here and maybe tries to take back the race lead.
He's got the run. There he goes. Not yet. They're pulling away from the rest of this field. So
Look
I'm
at
chop
that.
my nose,
3
I'll
by-
push you away.
Yeah, 3x3 though in the background. What a shot this is as we ride on board with race leader Kyle Peacock. Actually, no, this is actually Oscar Jensen. Peacock just in front of him. Now Morgan Cook wants to go. Wants to find
might be
somewhere
too
to
little,
go.
too late.
I think Sturgill's going to pick him up, though. That's not a bad driver to have behind you. He's going to get hooked up here, and he's going to probably send Morgan Cook back up to the front. This is going to be fun to watch here on board with Sturgill. He's one of the best pushers when it comes to super speedway racing, so it's probably only a matter of time until we see Morgan Cook back up here towards the front. Oh, late
but
block
that
there
block.
by Caleb Weekly. Yeah, that could have caused trouble. Oh, and he doors him. Thankfully, these guys keep it straight, but that could have been big trouble.
Well, Morgan Cook appreciated that block there by Weekly. Weekly's going to end up getting the bad end of the stick. He'll fall back to about 8th position. Cook's going to stay up there where he was at about 5th, 4th spot. It's getting dicey. I think right now, if you're 5th on back, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and if you're, right in the middle of this thing, like the 64 of Ben Lafter, who I think we do have a driver cam on, he's getting to see all of this crazy action happen right in front of him. And he's probably just holding his breath. He's probably got a death grip on that steering wheel, I would imagine, right now. He's kind of just at the mercy of other people's decisions, as we see Bryce Calusa in the 2 trying to squeak it middle 3. Kind of got into the 71 there of Carwile, but we're going to make it work here. But now Carwile's going to get kind of hung out to dry here, I think. Man, Lafter he is just right in the middle of it. Not where I would want to be, Bradley.
No, absolutely not. And as he almost got into the door, I think it was Alex Bell on the inside. That was a tight frame there. Even on the onboard, it doesn't always do it justice because of how close they were through that portion of 1 and 2. Now out of 3 and 4, settles down a little bit. Everyone drops to the inside. Lap 64 underway.
Yeah, now they're starting to get kind of organized here. They were for a little bit, at least. Caleb Weekly's going to jump out of line here, and I believe try to push Michael Sturgill. See if they're no, that wasn't didn't take long. We had single file. Now these guys fall in the second lane again. So now Caleb Weekly on the back bumper pushing Sturgill here. Caleb came oh so close to winning the SNR 500 season opener just a few seasons ago. So he's got good experience at the plate tracks and obviously shown that he can be up front and make things happen. Right now he's trying to, what he's trying to make happen is trying to put Sturgill up to the front so then maybe he can put himself in a better position, maybe slot inside and try to maybe grab that race lead again.
Ball's out there for the inside line. Kyle Peacock is going to lead another time by. It looks like For Weekly, he moves out to the outside. 54 is going to follow with him. Third line develops, and it's 2 cars. Going to try to go to the front. 54 can't get connected. Bryce Shoemaker on the high line.
Look at that side draft, what it's doing to the 63 of Max Costa. When he had both cars on the side of him, he just basically got pulled right off the back there of Michael Sturgill, and he's still falling back because he's got air dumping on both sides of his spoiler. And if he doesn't find he finally finds a, wow, he made kind of shut the door quick, but yeah, hey, lap car of Alex Bell, he'll pick you up. I guess he'll let you slot in line, but yeah, if he didn't, he was probably going to go further towards the back. So I don't know if Alex Bell wanted to let him in, but he didn't really have a choice.
No. There you go. Max Costa found the hole. He's going to settle out right there in 12th position, right behind Michael Sturgill. It is single file from first all the way back to the 13th position. You got side by side with Bryce Calusa, Ben Laughter on the bottom.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to see this pack get more organized. I know there's a handful of guys that have lost the main pack. So I'm looking at guys like Ryan Carwile now, Logan Drelkeld with all that damage, Keith Shoemaker in the 88. They're kind of in a world of their own right now. They're pretty much going to need a caution to get back into this thing. So they've lost the draft. Don't know if that's because of damage, but you can see the main pack is way ahead of them. So these guys right now are definitely praying for a caution.
Yeah, and if you got caught behind that 12, he was up towards the front there for a moment, but it looked like once he lost that draft, it's going to be impossible. Carwile also kind of in a similar boat, but it's back here in 26th. If I'm Logan Drelkeld, I'm going to stay glued to the back of that 71, try to get it back as close as we can to this field. They are currently 11 seconds back from your leader, Kyle Peacock.
Yeah, Kyle Peacock slots in line. Just ahead of Oscar Jensen, who's been doing a lot of different work tonight. We've seen him push a handful of drivers to the front. It looks like he's not really picking and choosing a specific teammate or a specific driver out there. It's pretty much whoever gets in front of Oscar Jensen, he's taking them to the front, and we've seen that a lot tonight.
Just under 30 laps to go. Jensen with another shove. The 2 on the outside. We were just talking about the 2 car back in about the 10th position, 12th position, but it looks like that second line develops again. Up to 3rd spot now on the outside of Matthew Robinson. And another shove. The 64, they're going to try to block it. It's not going to be enough.
Yeah, they are getting aggressive for sure. Ben Laughter, we were just riding on board with a few laps ago. He was right in the middle of it. Now he finds himself towards the front here, pushing the number 2 car of Bryce Calusa to the front. And it's going to be a dead even battle to the line. Peacock's going to pull ahead. He's going to get this lap led.
QR code back up on your screen. You can also check the link in the description. The Clash for a Cause benefiting Walkin Rollin Costumes. Again, shout out to Chris Rude to put this together in collaboration with Saturday Night Racing League. Been no shortage of action here. 33 on the outside. Looks like Mike Sturgill trying to work his way to the front. Has the 5 of McFadden. Hasn't got it going just yet. They're losing a little bit of ground.
Looks like in the YouTube chat, we got Terry Hudgens, which I believe parent to Devin Hudgens in the 84 as we ride on board. Back there in the 17th position, kind of just hanging on to the tail end of the draft, just trying to mind his own business and stay with it. But look how strong that draft can be. It was pulling him right up to the back bumper there of Chad Klinger. You pretty much have to get way out of the gas, otherwise you run right over him. To his outside, it's the 33 of Mike Sturgill. That's the father of Michael Sturgill. So those guys are duking it out. Looks like he's just kind of trying to keep things clean. Looks like Max Costa's kind of falling back to the tail end of this pack as well. It's just incredible to see, this car allows for, so much position swapping. We see guys go to the front, then back to the back. And you can do that several times, within a very short amount of laps. It's just a lot of fun to watch up here.
Speaking of laps, we're sitting right around 30 laps on the stint for the average. Every one of these cars is probably in a little bit of conservation mode. I don't know exactly what the stint was here, Jeff. but want to take a fuel. They gotta be sitting, maybe thinking about a pit stop. It could be possible.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that they can make it to the end here. So that raises the question, do you want to be, that group that pits early, gets the pit stop out of the way? That way, if a caution comes out, you don't have to pit. You can stay out and probably get back to the lead. Or are you banking that there's probably going to be more chaos and maybe run it as far as you can because you're expecting another caution. So you think you can pit under the yellow flag conditions. We'll have to wait and see. So far, we're on a pretty lengthy run right now, and there we go. There's pit stops happening right now as we speak, Bradley.
11 down pit road locks it up. The 31 as well. There's Morgan Cook. It looks like all these guys collectively on a Discord. Matthew Robinson. It's like the 31. Trevor Keithan as well. Dakota Floyd. Morgan Cook. All in for service. So all electing to pit together this short pit. I kind of like the call here, Jeff.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's pretty smart. You get the fuel in the car, get back out on track. The thing is now they need to get lined up and they need to make a good time because naturally they're probably going to be going slower than this pack of cars out front. So yeah, you got to get organized, got to start making speed because it won't be long before these guys have to get to pit lane. And like I said, early in the broadcast, pit road is where you can really separate yourself. It could be where tonight's race is won.
Inside line for Kyle Peacock prevails. 91. Oscar Jensen gives another great shove. Now pushes him all the way up to the middle line.
Driver we haven't talked about a ton is that 03 of Noah Mahalski. He's kind of been somebody that's been hanging out towards the back, trying to stay out of trouble. I don't know if he's used to fast repair or not. I know he has a little bit of damage on the front end of his car, so I'm curious to know how fast that car is going to be out front. But in the draft, he's right up here in the mix inside the top 5, and looks like he's found himself towards the front when it counts.
Into the top 5 for the 03. Sullivan in the 78. We talked about the throwback paint scheme. How about this for nostalgia? Truex Jr. always notorious for waiting until the end of these races to come up towards the front. Here he is in the top 5.
Yeah, doing a good job so far in that 78, right behind Noah Mahalski there in the 03. I'm sure these guys are probably trying to coordinate, when do they get to pit lane? It looks like, these guys are all getting organized on the bottom. That tells me that they're probably ready for pit stops. There's still a few guys out there, though, making ground on the top. They might be electing for that longer strategy, try to go as long as they can, maybe try to catch a caution, but we'll just have to wait and see. But big run there. Right here comes Rob Hamp on the top.
Big run here for the 4 car. Gonna try to take away the lead with the 71 of Carlisle. Remember, Carlisle scored as a lap down right now, but still, that doesn't mean anything to him. He's gonna push the 4 all the way to the front. Picked a good partner to go with. 71 has nothing to lose here down the backstretch.
Yeah, what he's trying to do is he's trying to be, getting his lap back the old-fashioned way. So if he can get around Rob Hamp here, and
and that's one way to do it.
Wow, that's going to be a big one, but we're still green, no caution yet. Wow. No, we are going to stay green. I guess single car incident, but gets hooked. He is not going to be happy about that. I know that probably
Mahalski.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Very deep into pit road. Looks like he was locking up the brakes to try to avoid his teammate there, Max Cost. But for the 03, that looks like a speeding penalty. Maybe that damage had something to do with it. Really surprised that caution didn't come out, but we have broke this field apart. Bryce Shoemaker leading this last tandem of cars. 35 laps on this stint. Joseph Sullivan, Oscar Jensen, Caleb Weekly, Kyle Peacock.
Yeah, that Noah Mahalski incident, that almost looks like his brakes weren't fully calibrated correctly or something. He went in there extremely hot. These cars got, really good braking power. It just looked like they were not working to the max there. He definitely got in there hot, but here comes another round of pit stops here. Got to get into the box clean. And like I said, this is where you make up the most time. So this is the money stop right here.
We're back on the replay here to look at. Maybe we can get it on board.
Oh, he gets some help. Okay, well, that makes more sense.
64 got into the back of him there. Back us up one more time.
I mean, there's no way he made speed, right? I mean,
no.
I don't know. If he did, that's pretty incredible, considering he got bumped from behind. Looks like Laughter got him. And
no, he definitely got speed. Yeah.
Yep. I was trying to see where that cone was relative to him, because he did get it slowed down, but yeah, it just wasn't in time. But now we got the triple or the 00 of Morgan Lilly to the race lead during this pit cycle. Keith Shoemaker is going to take over the second place position. They're yet to make their pit stops. Caution comes out now. That would be perfect for guys like Keith and Morgan Lilly. That would definitely get them back in the race, because right now they are quite a ways back relative to the main pack.
78 laps about to be completed. 00 has not hit pit road. 37 laps on the stint, continuing on. At about 20 to go, just under that.
Mark McFadden's going to try to grab onto the tail draft here. See if he can catch on. It's going to be tough. Those three cars were making a lot of speed. I don't know if Mark's going to be able to grab that or not. That's critical that he does grab that draft. Otherwise, he's going to lose a lot of time in this number 5 Ford Mustang that we're running on board with.
We talk about time. Look how fast you can drop back from this pack. Even just 3 cars. McFadden not able to grab the tail end of that draft, and he loses about 3 seconds. And just that back straightaway, it's going to continue to grow now all by himself on this racetrack. It's so important here, Jeff, to stay with the pack. It's kind of that attrition that with green flag pit stops, you're going to have that. This field's going to break apart, and if you made a mistake on pit road, this race can be over for you.
Yeah, a mistake on pit road will do it, or just not communicating with the other drivers. I mean, really, if you don't have people to pit with, I mean, you can go in there and execute the best pit stop, hit your marks, get into the box cleanly. But if you don't have people to draft with when you get out of pit lane, you're going to lose a lot of time here. So that's why it's key to communicate with the other drivers to try to figure out when can you pit when other drivers are pitting.
Chris Rude down pit road. Bob Denton there just behind. Maybe a speeding penalty here for Denton. He's been on pit road for quite some time.
Yeah, he is. 24 laps down for Rob Denton. So unfortunate to see that. I don't know if he got caught up in 2 wrecks early. Doesn't have a fast repair at this moment. So he's just a spectator at this point. I'm sure he's trying to help the guys in his channel, though. Do some spotting or relay some information, anything that he can to try to help his team.
Running on board with the 00, Morgan Lilly, the only car left on this racetrack that has not hit pit road. That is a lonely place to be in, but it could work out. Working the draft right now, 2 cars in front. That's the 77, I believe. And down pit road now for the 00.
Yeah, there's not much time left. They're going to have to get to pit lane soon. There's not a lot of fuel in there. And seeing where they're at relative to the lead pack, where like the 83 of Kyle Peacock is at, they're only like 30 seconds behind. So I think this pack right here probably going to be the one that we're going to have to watch. There might be another pack right ahead of them. I want to say that's Trevor Keith, Orlando, and
short
Hudgens.
hitters.
Yeah, their strategy actually might have been the one to go for. Because currently they are being scored ahead of Peacock, Jensen, Shoemaker, Weekly.
Morgan Cook had pitted with them. He is back in 19th position right now. If you look at the 27, I think this is going to be the group that leads this race. Trevor Keith is probably going to take over the lead here just momentarily. If not, the 11, Matthew Robinson, will take it over.
Yeah, and you see Dakota Floyd, he is in that mix too, right there in the 57. But I think that pack behind him is going to catch him. I think those guys are making some really good lap times. I think they are going to catch this pack. It's just a matter of what do they do when they get there. Are they going to have enough momentum, enough speed to maybe try to surge around on the outside? We'll have to wait and see. But you can see them in the distance here from the shot. They are making up ground, and they're coming quick.
Kyle Peacock back here in sixth position. This time by, it's just over 2 seconds across that stripe. 12 laps to go.
Yeah, we are getting to go time, and I'm sure these guys are pushing absolutely as hard as they can. Noah Mahalski to the outside. He's just going to get out of the way as a courtesy statement and try to see if Peacock, Jensen, Shoemaker, this whole pack can catch them. I think they are. They are really making good time. And you can see that those three cars, they're lined up so tightly. That helps. So credit to these guys for pushing hard and staying close to the back bumper. So like, that third place car, he can do a lot for the speed of that pack. And that's Bryce Shoemaker right now, making sure he's staying close enough to Oscar Jensen. And then for Oscar to obviously just be pushing Peacock as hard as he possibly can. And guess what? They're there, Bradley. They are here and they're ready to make a move.
They have the tail end of draft coming off the back of the 57 Dakota Floyd. Now it's a matter of, do they block this run? Where do you go line-wise? You've got this 5-car tandems that are breakaways. Here's a big surge of speed, the 83. Here's a block from Orlando. The 83 goes to the outside, 3 wide into 3.
Yeah, they tried to cover it, but there's just too much speed. It looks like Peacock, Jensen, and Shoemaker weekly, they're all going to, looks like, surge around on the top. And now they got more cars in that top lane, but they're going to drop down. These 3 cars looks like they're working together. They're going to leave Caleb Weekly up there on the top side.
Weekly sort of left out to dry. He has the 00, but he's going to drop down, leave the 00 Lily out to dry. Now it's narrowed down to just 2 cars on this second line. Caught him off guard, though, Jeff. You saw how fast that run was, and they tried to block it when Peacock just moved to the next lane. Move up 1 more into 3. It was enough speed that I think if they would have successfully blocked the speed of that car, probably would have had a caution.
Yeah, I think that would have been a big pileup, but I think they knew that they were not going to jump right out in front of them. He kind of moved up to that middle lane to, make them scrub off some speed, forcing them to go up to the top, and then kind of side draft them a little bit. But yeah, you're right. If he would have tried to cover that completely, just with the amount of speed these guys are carrying, that would not have ended up very well.
9 laps left in the clash for the cause here on VSPEED, Saturday Night Racing League. Walkin Rollin Costumes collaborating for an excellent race. Who would have thought, with the start we had to this race, recap up on your screen right now, 26 lead changes, 4 cautions here today. Still a possibility, but I think this field is spread out enough. We're just going to get one of those good old-fashioned white flag is out and everyone's going to go crazy.
Yeah, it's about to get really exciting here, so if you're watching, so keep it tuned right here to VSPEED. This is about to get good. And if I could ask one more time, Bradley, if we could get that QR code back up on screen one more time, just to let everybody know about Walkin Rollin Costumes, everything that they do, and everything about their nonprofit organization, please consider donating and contributing to them. They do such great work. You can read about them at walkinrollin.com or .org rather. And so we would greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching, you could smash that like button too for VSPEED so that this video gets out to more people. That means more people get to know about Walkin Rollin Costumes and everything they do. We would greatly appreciate it.
Everybody out there in the chat right now, this is about to get really good. GC Spider with that edit here for our hype trailers. On a great show, and I think I've watched that thing 100 times, Jeff. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of it. I don't think that the 83 of Kyle Peacock is going to get tired of this lead. The 91 Oscar Jensen has kept a car in front of him at the lead. I'd say for probably the last 40 laps, it's been the 91 keeping somebody up front.
Yeah, this is just the calm before the storm right now. We're just ticking off the laps right now. These guys are single file. Looks like somebody's trying to jump up there and make something happen. I think that's the 11 car of Matthew Robinson, but he's going to have to slot back in line. But yeah, it's going to get good here, so keep it right here to VSPEED. This is going to get interesting. These guys are about to make some big moves. There's a lot of money on the line here in tonight's event. Half of the proceeds going directly to Walkin Rollin, and the other half going to the top 5 finishers. So anytime there's money on the line, Bradley, it's we're going to see these guys get pretty aggressive.
Big Massey, Chris Rude, Logan Threlkeld. That looks like the 34 Chris Hodges all getting lapped down now as the 83 of Peacock goes to the outside. Winding these laps down, the opportunity for those drivers to get back on the lead lap has dwindled down to about a 10% chance. We've stayed green since about lap 54, I believe it was. We had another caution there, but we hit green flag pit stops. These drivers have done a phenomenal job on and off pit road, and you still have about 8 of them up here in this pack.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch this entire race. I mean, we saw just about everything. We saw 4 wide at time. We don't know how we made it work. We didn't wreck. We almost did, but we saw a lot of good 3 wide racing, pretty much, 3 rows, about 10 rows deep at times. But we're in the closing laps here now of the Clash for the Cause, and it's about to get good here. I know these guys are just riding right now. They're just waiting for these laps to click down, but I guarantee you, every single one of them, they're thinking ahead right now. What are they going to do once that white flag waves?
I can tell you where I wouldn't want to be. It's Kyle Peacock's situation that he's leading this race. He's going to have to make that car 4 lanes wide. It is very easy to get around, and he showed that earlier when he passed on surprise the 31 at Trevor Keith. Never really saw it coming. Now he's going to have to do the same thing. How do you go about this approach, Jeff, when you got 4 to go?
I don't know if there's any deals being made here between these 3, but I know they are in the same Discord channel. I know they all want to win it, but, you have to wonder, are some of these guys maybe trying to coordinate, say, hey, I'm going to work with you to the end. Maybe you give me a split of the winnings and we'll call it a deal. Or, at the very end, the white flag comes out. It's everybody for themselves. I don't know which one it's going to be, but I do know that these 3 cars pushing tonight have done an incredible job. This group of 3 cars, Peacock, Jensen, Shoemaker, they've been working with each other pretty much all night long, and they found themselves here towards the front in the closing laps. They're here. Now they just got to go out and execute, and we're going to get to see that very, very, very soon.
3 laps to go from Talladega. Peacock, Jensen, Shoemaker, Keith, Robinson, the top 5. Looking even deeper back here, Caleb Weekly. On the bottom line, now up to the top, and I thought maybe a late move there. Almost got turned across the nose of the 78. I don't think it's time just yet.
No, but it's getting awfully close here, but Kyle Peacock's still going to retain the lead. You can see the outside lane is trying to get organized. Bryce Shoemaker's going to cover it, though. He's going to jump up to the outside, and now he's going to try to take that run and try to go to the race lead. How about this? The 2 Walkin Rollin race cars in this race leading here towards the end. Some are going to call it rigged, Bradley.
Well, here's an excellent shot down the tri-oval. The 83, the 54. 2 laps to go. Trying to control both lanes. Clash for the Cause. Go to a popped engine, the 91, who has been pushing all race long.
And Bradley, you hate to see that, but I have done that myself. Engine expires on him. He probably thought he was being, good enough to where he was allowing it to breathe, but engine's going to blow up. That's going to cause Peacock the lead.
So much chaos up here in the top spot. Now you have the 83 falling back through this field back to 7th. The 54 of Shoemaker was able to salvage it. Luckily, he wasn't on that bottom getting the 91's push, and now you have Hudgens on the bottom for the push. White flag.
54 going to lead the last one. And he's going to get to the outside here.
No help here for the 54. Here comes Caleb Weekly on the bottom with the 78. A big push. Do they take the middle? They do not.
Got a lap car up ahead.
It's the 03 and Noah Mahalski going to move up out of the way. who's going to get the run out of turn 4. That's the kicker here at Talladega. That start-finish line a lot further away than it is at Daytona. You have to the end of pit road to decide this race. 27 on the back bumper of Hudgens. The lap car of Logan Threlkeld in between. Big run on the outside. Here comes, I believe that's the 83 of Peacock again to the top 3, but it's not going to be enough. And Devin Hudgens is going to win the Clash for the Claws here at Talladega.
And how about that finish, though? What a turn of events. We thought that maybe the Walkin Rollin cars had it sealed up. Oscar Jensen loses his engine. That takes Kyle Peacock to the back, opens up the door, and Devin Hudgens, with the help of the 27 and Kevin Orlando, get it done here at Talladega. And they're going to be coming home with some money. This entire top 5 is going to be coming home with a little bit of money. So Hudgens, Orlando, Robinson, Weekly, Peacock, your top 5, all going to be coming home out of this race with a little bit of extra money in their pockets.
Clash for the cause victory. Going to go up in that trophy case, and Hudgens probably didn't expect it. I mean, Hudgens had a quiet night all night. I think we maybe said his name one time. We rode on board there for a brief amount of time. That short pit, we go back to that, Jeff, it was genius. It worked out for these guys.
It definitely did, and, you know, we thought that might have been the case of, you know, the guys that get to pit road first, and they just well executed it. They got into their pit boxes clean. They got in line and they made a lot of time. You know, that second group did catch them, you know, but they, you know, didn't, you know, lose their composure or think it was over. They just kind of waited for that white flag, made the move when it counted, and they're going to win this race and they're going to come home with some money. So shout out to all these guys for just timing it perfectly and executing when it counted most.
Harry Hudgens giving some congratulations in the chat. Post-race interviews with your top 3. Final results. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. Again, go down there to that link in the description below. You're watching the Cause for the Clash live on VSPEED. More coverage is going to continue right after this.
It feels like we achieved something bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do. And now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord. And when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair and he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, you know, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, you know, building a simple costume, a Wall-E costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walkin Rollin Costumes. I want to reach more kids, and the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, you know, contact us. We have lots of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.
Start your engines!
And for the first time this season,
The Saturday Night Racing League, presented by MJ Distributors, is underway at Daytona.
Sorry for the wait. Didn't think I'd come up, y'all just need a little faith. I've been patient, just waiting.
It's killing this line because McWhorter can't complete the pass, and he's sideways off the corner, and he held on to it. Oh, Otto gets turned into turn number 3. McWhorter, Klinger, all in the outside wall. Caution is out. We're going to get a late race restart. Joshua Banks coming out of turn number 4, win number 6 in Saturday Night Racing League, first of the season for the 35. He gets it done in Dover.
The new winner this season, the 09 of Chad Klinger, off of turn 4. He will be victorious tonight at Phoenix. But the 73 of Joseph McWhorter is going to be your season 2 champion. Here he comes off of turns 3 and 4. It sounds like he saved enough fuel. Seth Hatchell, with an excellent strategy, is going to win here tonight at Kentucky Speedway.
Banks takes him 3 wide down the backstretch for the lead. Look at this, 3 wide again. The top 3 still 3 wide for the lead. Banks on the inside, right in the middle, Kevin on the outside.
I can't believe what I'm watching right now.
Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind. This is my prime. Let me tell them one time, I've been on the grind.
Pull those belts tight. You're watching Saturday Night Racing League, only on VSPEED.
Back here live at Talladega. Clash for the Cause has concluded its 94 laps. What an eventful race. It came down to a natural finish, and it's not too often that we're treated here, Jeff, to a finish like that. Moves to the outside. You had Kyle Peacock trying his best to get back to that lead. You had an expired engine there at the white flag with the 91, but Oscar Jensen probably just, pounding his head against the wall right now. What could have been? Who could he have pushed or got around, put his car in the right situation? Final results coming up on your screen. 32 lead changes and 5 yellows here tonight. And it's Devin Hudgens who gets the victory. Kevin Orlando Jr. is going to get second spot. Matthew Robinson in third. Kayla Weekly, my pick, finishing ahead there in the top 5. And then it's Kyle Peacock to round out your top 5. We'll get a word with them in just a moment. Trevor Keith will finish in the 6th position. 7th spot goes to Joseph Sullivan. 8th position, Bryce Shoemaker asking, what do I need to do in the general chat? Joshua Banks, 9th spot. Then it's Nathan Reynolds to round out your top 10.
And in 11th, it's the former Challenger Series champion and Dakota Floyd, followed by Morgan Lilly. Ben Lafter gets 13th. Timothy Peters was up in the mix all night. He'll get 14th. Chad Klinger, my pick of the night, got into a little bit of trouble there. He will get in 15th position. Michael Sturgill will finish in the 16th spot. Bryce Calusa in the 2, 17th. Morgan Cook, 18th. And Dohar, 19th. And Rob Ham finishes 20th.
21st goes to Ryan Carlisle. Mark McFadden will finish 22nd. 23rd, Mike Sturgill. Not to be confused with the 3 of Michael Sturgill, 23rd position. 24th goes to Keith Shoemaker. Max Cost across the line in 25th. Logan Threlkeld a lap down and finish in 26th position. Was up there in that pack there at the finish, but the 12 car helping influence the finish, not where he wanted it. Back here outside of the top 20. 27th goes to Christopher Hodges. 28th is Joseph McWhorter, your season 2 champion. Oscar Jensen with the expired engine falls back to 29th, 2 laps down. Ray Massey, 30th position. And 5 more cars to talk about. Noah Mahalski had heavy damage. Saw him there on the backstretch when that 2 to go mark came out. Chris Rude, 32nd. Philip Brewer, 33rd. Alex Bell, connection issues here tonight. And Rob Benton will finish at the end of the field.
And I am standing next to, sorry to cut you off there, Bradley, but if we could start interviews, start with the 5th place finisher of tonight. and that's going to be Kyle Peacock in the 83. Kyle, you were up front, went to the back, to the front a few times. You're kind of all over tonight. Led a lot of laps, 27 to be exact. Looked like you're having fun out there. It looks like just maybe losing your pusher there at the end is maybe the difference.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we were just, trying to take it easy the first half of the race. We kind of, got to the front and then we'd pit for fuel and then we'd go and fill up just to get to the back to avoid some of the chaos out there. But yeah, it was good to lead some laps and to feel like we had a shot to win it. This was great fun out here tonight.
Seems like you were one of those guys that really stuck around the teammates, worked with them a lot. Was that the goal going in? I mean, you guys obviously hit pit lane at the same time, executed your stops, got out on track. You actually came out to pit lane, behind that first group. We didn't know if you were able to catch them, but you eventually did. Was it just mostly working with teammates to make that happen tonight? We thought you guys might have been a little bit too far back to make up all that ground, but it wasn't too much later, and there you guys were ready to make a big move.
Yeah, man. Honestly, you know how it is at these super speedway tracks. You got to work with teammates, and then, if not teammates, friends you make during the race. But yeah, I was definitely specifically. I mean, I know Caleb and Noah and Rob and all them. They were there for the first half of the race, but towards the end there, me and Oscar, we were just, for lack of a better words, we were hauling balls. So it was great out there towards the end.
Yeah, you definitely were. You guys were definitely fast out on track, led a lot of laps, like I mentioned earlier. But hey, the good news is you come home fifth. You're coming home with some money tonight as we split the purse 50-50 with Walkin and Rollin Costumes. And then the top 5 get paid out 50% of that prize purse as well. So congratulations, Kyle, on the top 5. I know you wanted that race win, but just come up a little bit short. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to all the teammates and to Walkin and Rollin Costumes. They do a lot of great stuff over there at their company, and to SNR and VSPEED. So thank you guys.
That was Kyle Peacock in the 83 machine. He comes home in the 5th position. So close to capturing that race win, though, Bradley. I'm sure he's going to be, thinking those laps back. But we'll go ahead and we'll move up to our 4th finishing position tonight. And that is Caleb Weekly, who I'm also standing by. Caleb Weekly, you got a copy?
You're oh my God. Let's try that again. Yes, I got a copy, Jeff.
Well, good to hear, but you put on quite the show out there tonight. And, we saw you working a lot with your teammate there in Kyle Peacock, as well as Bryce Shoemaker and a few other guys. It seems like you found yourself up in the mix, and then you were at the middle of the pack in the chaos, and then back up towards the front. Just take us through your night. Was it stressful out there tonight? More importantly, did you have fun out there?
Yeah. I usually don't love the next gens at super speedways, but God, that second half of that race was just so fun. If it wasn't for Oscar, we would have had no shot of getting to that lead pack. So I'd like to thank Oscar and Peacock for working so well together. And yeah, that was just so fun. At the end there, I was going to push Matthew Robinson. There was a lapped car who was kind of making life difficult for us. So I just pushed him to try to get him out of the way, and I just stayed on his bumper until I crossed the stripe.
It seems like, Caleb, anytime we go to the super speedway, you're always one of those guys that we talk about. And in the pre-race, I believe you were Mr. Cooper's pick. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, really, Bradley? Yeah. You picked me?
I thought you had it.
Oh, I almost got it done for you.
So he was one that picked you. I was considering it too, but I knew you're going to be a threat. Obviously, we go back to a few seasons ago in Saturday Night Racing, almost winning at Daytona. What is it that makes you so good at these super speedways, and what is it that makes you so comfortable out here?
I can kind of gauge what's going on. I have really great situational awareness. I think that is a great strength of mine when it comes to tracks like these. Like, early on, when people were going 3 wide, very aggressive, I knew, okay, let's play it a little safe. And I think I can flip that switch from conservative, just riding around, to really aggressive, in your face, going to the front no matter what.
Well, it all paid off tonight. I know it's not the win that you wanted, but a top 5 nonetheless. And as I told Kyle, the top 4 are getting paid out tonight, splitting the purse with Walkin Rollin Costumes, half of the proceeds going to them, half the proceeds going to the top 5. So your 4th place position tonight, Caleb, you're going home with money. But before we let you go, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Chris for organizing this event. As someone who is autistic, it's great to see an organization like this. And keep up the great work you guys are doing. And I've got to thank Grandma Weekly, as you know, Jeff.
Absolutely. It's a must.
Yeah, she's watching live, and I'm sure she's going to be very thrilled by this performance.
All right. Well, thanks for your time.
And then just all the guys at Neon Auto as well.
Well, sorry, I cut you off there just a bit too early, Caleb. But anyways, yeah, Grandma Weekly, always cheering you on. I know she's one of your biggest supporters. I was pulling for you and your team as well. You guys do such great racing on the super speedway. So thanks for the kind words, Caleb, and we will talk to you maybe next week.
Oh, well, you're damn right. You're going to talk to me next week.
All right. Thanks, Caleb.
Thanks, Jeff.
So that was Caleb Weekly in
He's happy. I think he's happy.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, some people they get a little down on themselves. They wanted that race win, but I think he's proud of what he was able to accomplish tonight. This was a group of heavy hitters, guys from really all over, leagues that, VSPEED covers. I'd say, probably 70% probably from Saturday Night Racing League in that community, but we had a handful of other drivers tonight, and it was the other drivers, Mr. Cooper, that actually stole the show tonight. So looks like you're going to be standing by here with Matthew Robinson. If I can get him pulled up, he finished in the 3rd position.
Matthew Robinson, 3rd place here tonight. You guys chose that short pitch strategy. Looked like the 11 was on par for a possible victory. You're going to finish in the 3rd spot, though, here tonight. Tell us a little bit about how this race transcended with the cautions to the very end of this race. How did that change your mentality, your aggression, and how you worked with your teammates?
Well, we had a team of about 6 of us. 4 of us are from RR, Racing Revolution. Shout out to those guys, finishing 1, 2, 3. It was a little bit more of a laid back hangout at the beginning with the cautions going by. And then once that green flag run happened, we kind of fell into place, realized we wanted to pit early, and try and gap the field a little bit like what happened. And it worked out.
You guys caught up to that pack and got back into the hunt. It was kind of an up and down day, though. You kind of turned that switch on and off. We were talking to Caleb Weekly, and so for any drivers that are good at plate tracks, how do you decipher when to be aggressive and when to go for it?
When it looks sketchy in the front, don't go up there. You can see those cars start wiggling around and everything up there, and you kind of can tell when there's a wreck about to happen, and then you kind of just lay back a little bit. You want it to work its way out, and then if it works its way out and the high line starts moving, just take the positions and go.
Well, Matt, we appreciate your time up here in the VSPEED booth, and shout out to Racing Revolution. Be covering that here in just a couple weeks time, but you got in the money, split 50-50 here with Walkin Rollin Costumes. Congratulations on that. Anybody you want to shout out?
I appreciate that. Shout out to my parents, my wife. This charity event was awesome. It was a great event. Aloe Barbershop, KSX, who actually did my paint scheme, he was in the race as well, finished 6th. Shout out to VSPEED. You guys are awesome. I'm looking forward to the new season. That's about it. I appreciate it.
Matt Robinson going to finish 3rd here tonight in the Clash for the Cause. Appreciate your time, Matt.
Thank you.
Moving on, though, to our 2nd place finisher, a teammate to the 11. Kevin Orlando Jr. is caught up with me here on pit road. And Kevin, I got to say, it was close, but you committed to the teammate there, pushed Hudgens all the way to the victory, kept him at bay. That was the main priority, I think. Good call on that.
No points on the line for the race tonight. It's all about putting on a good show and raising money for the charity. So when it comes down to it, got to do what you can to put the team on a podium. And we got a 1, 2, 3 for Racing Revolution and 6th. Let's not forget him. So it feels good to do that. And it was a lot of fun tonight and a great race all around.
I got to say, a little quiet here tonight, but we're going to try to get your volume adjusted. And Kevin, I know that this race changed throughout from where we started. You kind of come down pit road not expecting to have to do that final green flag pit stop. Did you guys already decide once you went back green where you were going to pit, or were you kind of estimating that there would be another caution?
We were kind of expecting another caution at the pace the race was, but once we got within, kind of a 15 lap window, we started, seeing where everyone's fuel numbers were at and who was going to be able to make it and who, need to pit early. That way we could all come down together. We actually were going to come in a lap before we did, but we had that lap car right in the middle on the apron as we were about to enter pit road. So last minute call off there. Able to come in, get out pretty good. We lost Morgan. He just wasn't able to get on the draft coming out of pit road, which was unfortunate. But no, it was a little unexpected, but very pleasant to get that green flag run there.
Well, it was entertaining nonetheless, and I know that you try to never leave a teammate behind, and you guys worked well together. Great communication to call off that pit stop and then come down and all pit together, get on and off cleanly, no penalties, and push to the victory. Anybody that you want to shout out here when you split that purse here for second place?
Oh, definitely got a shout out to charity here. I want to make sure I get it right, so just bear with me on it. The Clash for a Cause with the hold on, I'm having a hard time finding what the charity is.
Walkin Rollin Costumes.
Walkin Rollin Costumes. I apologize. Got to give a shout out to them and to the Saturday Night Racing League for hosting this great event. Of course, shout out to the guys that made it out here from Racing Revolution. It's great to have people to work with in an event like this, and shout out to all the drivers tonight. It was great all around. We were able to have decent racing all through the pack, 4 wide at some points, but a lot of fun. So
we appreciate your time up here in the booth, and Kevin, I look forward to getting to cover some of those races, maybe shout that name out a little bit more here on Wednesday nights. Thank you for your time up in the booth.
I hope I can see you again in a few weeks. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Kevin Orlando Jr., second place finisher here tonight. But ultimately, Jeff, it comes down to the victor here at the Clash for the Cause, and Devin Hudgens is in victory lane. He had lap down cars, cars to the outside, cars to the inside. It didn't matter. You had the teammates behind you. You put that car in victory lane, and never looking back here. You had some pushes there at the end that just really put you ahead of this field. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you very much, Bradley. That was my first league win since joining iRacing, and it couldn't have came any cleaner or better.
Well, let's go back to the beginning of this race. We had cautions. We had things that were beyond your control. How are you able to maybe avoid most of that? I know that we had a fast repair here tonight, and you were able to keep that in your back pocket, but were you conservative to start this race out?
Extremely conservative. Of course, everybody not knowing everybody in this field, wanted to, check out how everybody was going to drive, how aggressive some people are, and how calm other people were, and kind of just chose my battles at the right time. I normally don't stay low when it comes to super speedways, but it worked out for me. I just kind of just tucked in and stayed to myself until the very end. And then Kevin, being a good teammate that he is, he pushed me and didn't overstep his boundary, and we got a 1-2-3 finish for RR.
He didn't cost you the victory. That's what you meant to say. But how about the fact that you have teammates like that behind you that you can count on for pushing you to the win?
Oh, it's great. It's wonderful. I love it. Racing with Kevin and Maddie and TK. It was a blast to race with them today and to talk to them and strategize. And that's what really helped us was that last pit stop. When we went down all together and got back out all together, we all just stayed together, and it worked out in our favor at the end.
Well, we're splitting it 50-50 here with Walkin Rollin Costumes. I know you've got a lot of people behind you. I saw some of them in the chat here tonight. I think Terry was in here. Congratulations, son, I think was the shout out. Go ahead and shout him out back.
Yeah, I gotta shout out my dad. He watches me race every week. I gotta shout out Chris Rude and Jeff for putting this event on, and the charity. I gotta shout Saturday night racing. It was a great show today. It was a great show. I'm happy for it. I'm happy for the charity. Hopefully they put it to a good cause.
Absolutely have, and they've I believe Chris Rude is going to confirm everything that we've accumulated here with this event, but ultimately you are the victor. It's going to go down in the history books. Clash winner, Clash for the Cause, and Walkin Rollin Costumes, Devin Hudgens. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Jeff, I tell you what, man, it's complete success. Overall, I think everything that you want to check all the boxes. You set up events, Chris Rude putting it on, you guys collaborating together. I'll hand it over to you guys and what you guys put together tonight. I was just the host, but you guys made it happen.
Yeah, and I'll say, just huge props and thanks to Chris and everybody at Walkin Rollin Costumes. We talked about this, for a few weeks leading up, but Chris envisioned this idea, back in October, and first talked to me about it, and I talked to the rest of the Saturday Night Racing League admins, and thought that they've done so much for us, let's help them with this event. So happy to have helped with it, but really the big shout out goes to Chris for putting this on. So Chris, thank you for everything that you do and everything that Walkin Rollin Costumes does. I think tonight was a success, and I think you'd probably agree with that.
Yeah, it was a great race. Really appreciate you guys doing everything you did. And I had a little bit of a missed call on my pit, so I didn't get into that action at the end, and really needed that pit a caution to come out for my end. So didn't see some of that stuff. I was singing all by myself for a while there, but it was a great event from what I could tell. A couple of the guys I've chatted with, even post-race, have really enjoyed it. So all in all, a really successful event. So I was trying to crunch numbers and do some stuff. So I don't know, Jeff, if you guys know or have seen anything else, but it looks like the payout splits like $450 going to Walkin and Rollin, and then $450 being split across the top 5 finishers, which is fantastic. So costumes cost between, as I said, between $250 and $500. So we can pretty much fund a full costume from this event with what we've done there. So absolutely ecstatic over how it turned out, and I hope what you saw on the broadcast was they put on a good show, and it was a good event from that perspective as well.
Yeah, definitely an exciting event for sure. I'm sure once you get to have a chance to go back and watch it, you'll definitely agree as well. I know Bradley and we had fun up here. I mean, anytime it's Talladega, it can get chaotic, and we had a little bit of chaos here and there, but really we had that great green flag run to the end. Saw some really good racing. I was checking the link. We got some donations too, during the broadcast, so it was awesome to see that. So big thanks to people like Nicholas Hapiak, Caitlin Danford. I see Bradley Cooper, you're already in there, Rob Denton. Those are just the people that have donated directly to the link. And then obviously every single one of our drivers tonight that donated $25 to be here, to the Walkin Rollin Costumes Clash event. Big shout out to them. And then I also got to give a shout out to guys that, helped recruit people too. Logan Threlkeld's one of them. He helped quite a bit, taking some payments and organizing things like that. Obviously everybody at VSPEED for allowing us to use their platform here to stream this live to all of you. So big time success in my eyes. I don't know if you got anything else to add, Bradley, or if Chris has anything to add, but I think we can walk away from this knowing that this was a success, and hopefully more people are aware about everything that Walkin Rollin Costumes does.
Well, I'm going to do a shameless plug here on VSPEED. I hope you enjoyed tonight's action. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We have plenty of racing left to be done. I'd like to thank Chris Rude and Jeff Wright for putting this together and allowing me the opportunity to host these races all season long for Saturday Night Racing League and for that Clash for the Cause. I think I've messed that up about 4 times here tonight, but nonetheless, we got through it, and I appreciate you guys and your time. You can tune in next Saturday night. There's the schedule on your screen. Going to be debuting at Daytona in the M&J Distributors Saturday Night Racing Cup Series. Be sure to tune in at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. But for everybody at VSPEED, Adam Baker in the background, then SNR, Chris Rude putting this on, and Jeff Wright, your Season 1 champion. This is Bradley Cooper telling you so long from Talladega. We'll see you next week at Daytona.